All right, let's get down to business. But before we do, I was asked what my signature drink is. I would have to say it's the Long Island iced tea because nothing gets the job done quicker. No detours for fruity umbrellas, just straight to the point. Anyways, let's look at our question. I like to start by checking out the call of the question. The call is the prompt, usually ending with a question mark that is saying, here's what we want you to answer. So looking at this, we see the call of the question reads, if the statements above are all true, which one of the following must also be true on the basis of them? So we can tell that this is a must be true question. Which of the following must also be true? Great. And we know that the structure of a must be true question is that they will give us a couple of propositions and a conclusion, and then ask us what else must be true, what other proposition must be true for this conclusion to hold. In other words, they're asking us to find the missing assumption. With that in mind, let's now look at the fact pattern. This summer, Jennifer, who has worked at KVC Manufacturing for just over 3 years, plans to spend with her family the entire 4 weeks of paid vacation to which she's entitled this year. All right, let's stop there and underline a few things. Anytime I see numbers, I typically tend to underline them. So I will underline the fact that Jennifer's worked there just over 3 years and underline that she has 4 weeks of paid vacation. Moving on, anyone who has worked at KVZ Manufacturing for between 1 and 4 years is automatically entitled to exactly 3 weeks paid vacation each year. Now, what strikes you about that? Yeah, I would say that anyone between 1 and 4 years, underline that, and exactly 3 weeks paid vacation. If you're French, you're probably outraged. What is this? 3 weeks alone? But in my experience, I guess that's not a bad deal. Anyways, staying on target, you can apply up to half of any vacation time that remains unused at the end of 1 year to the next year's vacation. So you get rewarded for being a workhorse by carrying over half of your vacation, unused vacation time to the next year. Let's try to diagram this. So our first proposition, anyone who has worked at KVZ for 1 to 4 years is entitled to 3 weeks of awesome vacay per year. Where are you going to spend that vacay? Bahamas, Bermuda, India, all the above? Second proposition, if you have unused vacation at the end of last year, you can apply up to half vacation this year. Okay, so sometimes just for giggles, I like to flip these statements around with the contrapositive, which is that if you're not entitled to 3 weeks of vacation each year, then you haven't worked for 1 to 4 years. Or if you don't have half of your vacation added, then you weren't able to save any vacation last year. Now let's look at our famous person, Jennifer. She's worked at KVZ for just over 3 years, which falls into the category of 1 to 4 years. So we know that she only gets 3 weeks of vacation per year. However, we also know that she's claiming 4 weeks of vacation. So where's this extra week coming from? The only other way we know from these facts is that it must have come from last year. So if she has 4 weeks of vacation this year and only earned 3 of them this year, that means she must have added 1 week of vacation from last year. Great. Now, our second proposition said, if you had unused vacation last year, you could only carry half of it over. So this means that if she carried 1 week over, and that was only half of what she had, she must have had 2 weeks unused vacation last year. Looking at our answer choices, does one of them say that she had 2 weeks of unused vacation? Yes, bam, right out of the gate, A. And that's the answer we were looking for, so let's go with that. Looking quickly at the other answer choices, B, if Jennifer continues to work for KVZ Manufacturing, she'll only be entitled to 3 weeks paid vacation next year. That sounds tempting, right? Because wouldn't she still be in that 1 to 4 range? No, she wouldn't, because she's worked just over 3 years this year. So next year she could have worked just over 4 years. We don't know. Anyway, it doesn't have to be true, so it doesn't qualify as the right answer. Remember, this is a must be true question. C, the majority of KVZ's employees use each year all of the paid vacation time to which they're entitled. My reaction is, where does this come from? That doesn't have to be true from anything we've been told or their conclusion. This isn't about the majority of employees, this is about Jennifer. D, the last year, Jennifer took only 1 week of the paid vacation time she was entitled. Okay, if Jennifer only had 3 weeks last year, then sure. If she carried 2 weeks over to this year, then she only used 1 week. But what if she came into last year with unused vacation from the year before? Then she could have used more than 1 week. So D doesn't have to be true. Finally, E, KVZ Manufacturing sometimes allow extra vacation time to employees who need to spend more time with their families. Well, if Jennifer didn't have any vacation carried over from last year, you might say, hey, she's not playing by the rules, so there must be a special rule for her. But as we see, she could have gotten 4 weeks without breaking any rules or getting any special treatment just by carrying over 2 weeks of vacation from last year. I hope this helps you understand the general structure for approaching these kinds of questions. The first thing we do is look at the call of the question to understand what kind of question we're facing, and then we read the prompt and diagram, come to our own conclusions, and then look to see which of the answer choices matches the logical conclusion that we arrived at. Hope you enjoyed it.